The winds began to howl on a cold Sunday morning. This was no ordinary Alaskan storm. The remnants of Typhoon Halong had crossed the Pacific, gathering strength and targeting Alaska's western coast. People here are used to harsh weather, but this was different, an event few had ever witnessed. The sky turned a furious gray, the sea rose, and hurricane-force winds battered the land. The storm surge pushed the Bering Sea inland, swallowing the coastline and flooding villages. Familiar paths vanished beneath churning water, homes and safety were consumed. The roar of wind and waves overwhelmed everything, as residents huddled inside, waiting for the storm to pass. This was not just a bad storm, it was a historic crisis. Officials quickly realized the scale: extreme winds, unprecedented flooding, and a disaster in the making. Jeremy Zedek of Alaska's Emergency Management called it a very serious situation. The people of Alaska faced the raw, untamed power of nature, and the first round had just begun. The battle for survival was underway. In western Alaska, small coastal villages like Kipnuk and Quigilingok took the full force of the storm. Generations had built their lives here, but this was a challenge unlike any before. Winds tore apart buildings. Some homes were ripped from their foundations. Roofs vanished, walls collapsed, and then the water surged in. Floodwaters rushed through, submerging roads and homes, leaving little time to react. Families huddled together, powerless as their world disappeared beneath icy water. Power lines fell, plunging villages into darkness and isolation. Neighbors tried to help each other, but the disaster was too great for any local response. Essential supplies were lost, and the very ground was underwater. It was clear. Survival would depend on help from beyond. The villages faced catastrophe and waited for rescue. As the storm raged, a massive rescue operation began. The Coast Guard and Alaska National Guard led the charge, racing against time. C-130. Hercules planes brought in personnel and supplies, while Black Hawk helicopters became lifelines. Hovering over flooded villages, rescue swimmers and medics were lowered to rooftops and battered homes. Pilots navigated fierce winds and debris, risking their lives for each mission. Dozens were hoisted to safety, each rescue a victory against the storm. The operation was a testament to teamwork and courage. Crews worked tirelessly, flying mission after mission. The sight of helicopters brought hope to those stranded below. The coordinated effort proved that even in Alaska's most remote corners, help would come. Against the odds, lives were saved. The storm's fury met its match in human resolve. For survivors, the storm left shock and fear in its wake. Official statements confirmed what residents already knew. This was a disaster of historic proportions. On the ground, the loss was deeply personal, homes and memories swept away. Isolation was crushing, with communications down and uncertainty everywhere. Yet, stories of courage emerged, neighbors helping neighbors, sharing what little they had. The arrival of rescue helicopters brought relief and hope. Being lifted to safety marked the first moment of security since the storm began. In shelters, the reality of loss set in. But so did gratitude for survival. The community was shaken, but not broken. Shared survival forged powerful bonds. Together they would face the long road ahead. With the storm past, recovery began. The villages were forever changed. Many homes gone, the landscape scarred. Rebuilding would take months, even years, testing everyone's endurance. Support poured in from state, federal, and charitable groups, bringing supplies and hope. The same teamwork that powered the rescue now fueled recovery. At the heart of it all was the resilience of the Alaskan people. They would clean up, rebuild, and restore their communities, drawing strength from each other and their land. Amid devastation, hope endured. The knowledge that they had survived the worst. The story of the Great Storm would become one of survival, courage, and unbreakable spirit. The people of Western Alaska would rebuild, and their villages would rise again.